Good morning, class. I'm Sam Verbulecz, and today we'll be going over how to eat out in America. There are two main types of dining, those being fast food and sit down, and I will go over each in their entirety today. The first type of restaurant is fast food. These are usually large chains which you can spot by their large logos and colorful buildings. Food here, like the name implies, can usually be acquired very quickly. The food is also usually relatively cheap, with an entire meal not costing more than a couple of dollars. However, this food is usually not very good for you, with high fat and salt contents, and too much can be bad for you. So, fast food restaurants are usually best when you have to eat in a hurry, but just use them sparingly. Upon entering a fast food restaurant, you will see a large counter with several employees behind it, a kitchen behind them, and a menu up above them. You may follow signs for where you should stand to wait in line to get to the counter to place your order. While waiting in line, it's usually best to read the menu, which is located above the counter. Fast food menus are usually very simple and straightforward, easy to understand. You will often see large pictures of the item you want to order. Next to that item is a large number, and you will also see two different prices. One price will be for the item by itself. The other price will be the item as part of a meal. In America, in fast food, a meal, in addition to the item with which you are ordering, is usually French fried potatoes and a soda. You can then select which size you want, small, medium, or large. It is worth noting that American portion sizes are generally much larger than those in other countries. Keep this in mind when selecting a size. Once you know what you would like to order and what size you would like to order, you can just tell the employee behind the counter either the name of the item you would like or just tell them the number. If you would like to change something about the order, say you want a hamburger but you don't want it to have cheese, just tell them. Say, "I would like a hamburger, no cheese please," and they may fix the order for you. After you have ordered your item, you'll then pay the cashier. Unlike in sit-down restaurants, there is no need to tip employees here. If you don't understand tipping, don't worry, we'll get back to it later on in the video. After paying in a fast food restaurant, you will often be given an empty tray, a receipt for your order, and an empty cup. You may take the empty cup over to the soda fountain, see the picture, and select any beverage you like, and then fill the cup with that beverage. Once your order is complete, they'll announce a number. That number will match a number on your receipt. Walk back to the counter, show them your receipt, and they will give you your order. You may also ask for items such as additional salt or additional sauce, or even extra napkins for when you eat. If these are not behind the counter, these are usually located at a table near the soda fountain. Now you may sit down and enjoy your meal. Once you have finished eating your meal, you may take your trash and deposit it in a trash can, and then you may leave. Most fast food restaurants will often feature a drive-thru. This is for customers who do not have time to go inside and sit down in the restaurant, or simply do not wish to get out of their cars and just want to pull through and get their food. Simply follow signs and they will direct you towards the drive-thru. Ordering at a drive-thru works very much the same as it does inside. With a large menu, different items, those items are numbered, and prices for the items. The menus are usually large enough and placed in such a way that you may read them while waiting in your car for your turn to order. Once you have decided what you want, you will speak into a microphone after being greeted by an employee of the restaurant. Tell them what you want, much the same way you would on the inside, with your food's name or number and any changes you would like to make to your order. After that, they will ask you to pull forward. As you pull forward, you will see either one or two windows to your left. Pull up to whichever one the voice in the box has told you to while placing your order. Usually, one would stop at the first window and then pay for their food. After that, they'd pull forward to a second window where they will give you your food. Here is again where you may ask for things like extra salt, extra sauce, or extra napkins. After that, your order is complete and you may continue on. Now that we have covered fast food restaurants, I'll now cover what we call sit-down restaurants. As the name implies, these are usually nicer restaurants in which you go in and sit at a table and someone will take care of you. They do not have drive-thrus, and ordering can be a little bit more complicated to someone who may not be familiar with them. Don't worry, we'll go over all the stages of eating properly in a sit-down restaurant. Nearly all visits to a sit-down restaurant will follow the same pattern of activities. First, you wait to be seated. Then, go to your table. Next, your waiter or waitress will bring you menus and ask what you would like to drink. Then, you may read your menu and decide what you want to eat. Tell your waiter or waitress what you want to eat. Your food will arrive, you will eat, you will then ask for your check, you will pay the check, leave the tip, and then you may leave the restaurant. I will now go over each of these steps individually and with greater detail so that you may understand them better. As you first enter the restaurant, you will need to get a table. If you see a sign, such as the one in the photo on the left, that says, "Please wait to be seated," please wait in line and someone from the restaurant will come and get you as soon as a table is available. If the restaurant is full, they will often take your name and tell you how long of a wait it will be. If you see no one waiting to seat you, no sign, or a sign that says, "Please seat yourselves," you may then walk into the restaurant and pick any seat you like. Shortly after you find a seat, you will then be greeted by either a waiter or a waitress. Waiter is the term used for a man who will be serving you. Waitress has the same job, but will have the title of waitress as she is a woman. They will be the ones who will take your orders and bring you food and check in on you throughout your stay at the restaurant. When you first arrive, they will often give you menus and then ask what you would like to drink. If you are unsure of what you would like to drink, you may ask the waiter or waitress what beverages the restaurant has. Almost all restaurants will have some sort of soda, and every restaurant will have water. This is usually the easiest choice, and many sit-down restaurants will bring you water as soon as you sit down and will offer you the choice of an additional drink. While the waiter or waitress is preparing your drinks, now is usually the best time to open your menu and decide what you would like to eat. Items in a menu are normally sorted under different types of food. First, we have appetizers. Appetizers are usually smaller portions of food which can either be shared with the table or eaten by yourself, which will arrive before your food. These are often things like soup or salad. And as I said, if you put these orders in soon, then they will arrive before your food and you may eat them before your meal begins properly. A menu in a sit-down restaurant will often function very differently from that in a fast food restaurant. They will very rarely have pictures, and even if they do, not every item will have a picture. You will see an item's name listed and a short description of the item, and then the price of the item. You may also choose whether or not you want to remove an item from something you'd like to order. This is called making a substitution. For example, if you order a hamburger and it comes with French fries, but you don't like French fries, you may ask that the French fries be replaced with something else. For example, applesauce. Usually, any waiter or waitress will be happy to make this accommodation for you. After placing your order, the waiter or waitress will usually take your menus, and then will return shortly with any appetizers, or soup or salad you may have ordered. You may snack on these until your main course arrives. Next, your waiter or waitress will bring you your main course. While it is usually customary to have lively discussions while waiting for food, the discussions will usually slow or stop altogether when the food arrives. Usually, your party will be too busy eating to discuss, and it is considered rude to talk with one's mouth open while eating a main course. Sometimes, something may be wrong with an order when it arrives to you. Perhaps a hot dish has been brought to you cold, there is a server's hair in the food, it doesn't taste right, or the waiter or waitress has brought you the wrong item. It is perfectly acceptable to then wave to the waiter and ask them to come and fix the food. If you do not want to wave to the waiter, they will often be back every couple minutes to check up on you. Simply tell them what is wrong with your food and ask that it be sent back. It is their job to do this. They will then return the food to the kitchen and bring you food which has hopefully repaired the problem. Now that you have finished your meal, it is time to pay your bill. This can happen when either a waiter will come by and ask you if you are ready for your check, or you may wave to your waiter and tell them that you are ready for your check. They will then bring you either a receipt with the amount of money for your food and place it face down on the table, or they will place the receipt in a small leather book. Open up the book and have a look at the receipt. If you are paying in cash, simply leave the equal or greater amount of cash in the book. The waiter will then come and take the book and return any change that you might need in the book. If you are paying with a credit card, simply place your card in the book. The waiter will then come and take your credit card and return it once it's been swiped, and they will bring you a second receipt to sign. This receipt will also have a slot for a tip, which I will go over with you right now. In America, it is now customary to leave what is called a tip. As service workers are paid less than normal workers for doing similar jobs, they are given a tip, which is a sum of money rewarding them for their services at the end of the meal. What is customary is to give them as a tip is 15% of your total bill. A tip for someone who has given you poor service, such as someone who is rude to you, you may only give them 10%. If you have a server, a waiter or waitress, who has given you excellent service, you may give them as much as a 20% tip. Now, there are multiple ways with which you can calculate a tip. The easiest is just to use the calculators built into most cell phones. Many smartphones will even have apps which are just tip calculators by themselves, and they can give you the amount of money you need to pay. If you do not have a calculator, or wish to do this manually, there are a few simple tricks to calculate your tip. First, we'll get to 10% of your total bill. Just move the decimal point one space to the left, and that will give you 10%, which is the lowest tip you would give someone for poor service. If their service was average, add half the amount of that 10% to get 15. If the service was above average, and you liked your waiter or waitress, you may give them 20%. So just double the 10% you got by moving the decimal point. If you are paying cash, it is customary to leave the money on the table, and they will collect this money when you go. Now, if you have paid using a credit card, as I have stated before, there will be a slot for the tip on the receipt. You may then leave the tip there, and then add the tip to your regular bill, and then write the total in the box. There are some restaurants which are allowed to add on a certain amount to your bill if you do not leave a tip with a credit card. Congratulations! Now that your bill has been paid and your tip has been left, you have successfully completed dining out at a sit-down restaurant. I will now go over the steps of sit-down dining one more time to review. First, as you enter the restaurant, you will either join a line to wait to be seated, or you may go and select your own table. Once you have a table, a waiter or a waitress will come to greet you shortly. They will often ask what you would like to drink and bring you menus. The waiters and waitresses will often check on you periodically to make sure you're doing all right and that you have everything that you might need and that your service is good. Once you have ordered your drinks, is usually the best time to read the menu and decide what you want to eat. You may either decide to just go straight for a main course or have an appetizer so you have something to munch on while you wait for your main meal. These are often things like breadsticks or soup or a salad. Then you may just tell your waitress what you want for your main course. As your food arrives, it's time to relax and eat. Once you've finished, you may either ask for a check, or the check will be offered to you by the waiter or waitress. You can then pay the check either in cash, in the book, or use a credit card. If you have used the credit card, calculate your tip, which is the amount you would pay the server for their services, into your total, and add that to the second receipt. As I said before, 10% is a tip reserved for poor service, 15% is average, and 20% is for excellent service. Then, once you have left your tip and paid your bill, you may now leave the restaurant and carry on with your evening. Hello class, my name is Sam Verbulecz, and I will be your tutor in how to properly eat out in America. Now, there are two main types of dining which I will go over with you. First, we have fast food, and then we have sit-down restaurants. First, let's start with fast food.